what's this? A mini video on a Thursday? Anyways, besides, I would just say one thing. We are getting back probably one of the best stories that was ever told in the eyes of many paleontologist fans and those of paleontological theories and of life expansion. From back in the 90s, the infamous, no wait, not infamous, the famous Walking with Dinosaurs came out. And we gotta change our perspective of dinosaurs from these movie monsters into legendary creatures that roamed the earth before us. Did the original Walking with Dinosaurs have its problems with accuracy? Well, try to be accurate for the time, which it most likely was. Except for the T-Rex model, but you guys know how that is. Anyways, pretty much I will say that I'm honestly surprised BBC Earth. It surprised me today with showing me this, and honestly, I can't wait to react to it. That's why I'm making this video on Thursday, and most likely, purposely, I'm going to be releasing it today. Or tomorrow. It depends on how I'm feeling, but, yeah. Anyways, I'll go over this in a different video, but no, dire wolves have not been brought back from extinction. Even though the name might imply that they're more related to wolves, it's like the way and how they were made. It's like, not really anything. But besides, it's time for a new age of dinosaur media. Because Prehistoric Planet might have placed us into the modern age of scientific accuracy. That doesn't mean we don't have room for more to explore. And plus, with Walking with Dinosaurs, we get to see a bit more than what Prehistoric Planet has been showing us, because if I'm not mistaken, Prehistoric Planet has been sticking to stuff that is relatively just within the mid to late Cretaceous time period, if I'm not correctly mistaken. It's been a while since I've seen Prehistoric Planet Season 1 and 2, but I should say all the copyright once again belongs to BBC Earth, and now time to witness this legendary story. Some paleontologists, my fellow comrades that are out doing the field work. I've done field work a few times, and honestly, it was quite fun, but ultimately, unfortunately, not the stuff for me, as I'm more into the theories of what their lives were, rather than, excavating them. Although I wish to keep helping out the best I can, I will just keep offering anything to help you guys out, because are you guys the most respected of the scientific community? No. Are you guys relatively some of the more important members? Debatable. But regardless, I find your work interesting and fascinating. But let's begin nonetheless. Sorry for stalling, but I'm just interested in this. Whoa. I mean, at least they're now correcting the fact that it was more 66 million years ago that it was when the dinosaurs were wiped out, but, it's easier just to say 65 because, it wasn't until recently we had further evidence that supported that it was more closer to 66 than 65. So, yeah. Wait a second. Did I see what I thought I saw? Oh no. bringing the Spino. For those that know what I'm about to say. This animal keeps going through a transformation like every couple of years. 1 year we find out that it could have been a quadruped, which I don't believe was actually the case. Although then the same paleontologist also then discovered its newt-like tail, but then again, it's hard to attribute fossils to Spinosaurus Egypticus due to how fragmentary it is, and not to mention on it being in the desert, plus also lots of fossil poachers. For those that don't know, fossil poachers and private fossil collectors keep away valuable materials of bones from prehistoric animals that they find, and don't exactly trace anything for paleontologists to really give them a hint on where they were found or anything, so it's one of those sad cases. But obviously I would have chose a bit of a better dinosaur to choose for this. Not saying Spinosaurus is bad, it's just one that changes with design so every often that I feel like for now we have more proof on what it's like, but although we don't exactly know what its sail would have looked like in life. And also we don't exactly know how the pattern of its newt-like tail would have ended, but it should be interesting. Sorry for those that are just wanting me not to yap, it's just that this is one of the few subjects where I actually do have a lot of knowledge and a lot of passion for. And they got the details right. Its nostrils are further up the snout. I have to say, this is still a good model for Spinosaurus. Wait. Oh no. Is this either... Ooh, this could be either of three things in juvenile stage. Let's see. This could be Triceratops, Horridus, Porsus, or Eotriceratops. I'm forgetting what Eotriceratops' last part of name is, partially because that's one of the more species that I'm more unfamiliar with, but it wouldn't be too surprising since, yeah. Wait a second. Let me take a look. Pachyrhinosaurus. Oh no, which of the species is this? I know this is... If this is the Alaskan variant, then I'm forgetting its name, but... You know what? I'm gonna just quickly look up the three Pachyrhinosaurus names, because I keep forgetting. Pachyrhinosaur. Let's see. So judging by design from the baby with the two spikes and the little horn above the head right here, this is, and judging by placements of horns here and for the adults, I'm saying that this is Pachyrhinosaurus lacustae, if I'm not mistaken. Partially because I'm pulling up an image of the different skulls of the different species of Pachyrhinosaurus, just to figure out which one's the closely related one in the image. Yeah, sorry for doing this. I am honestly just too excited and too nerdy about this. For those that are just wanting me to shut up, I have to say sorry. This is my video. Huh? I mean, wait. Wait a sec. Give me a moment. Alright. Wait, sauropod nostrils at the front and not at the top of the head? This is a new but fascinating design that I know a lot of old paleontologists have finally fixed. Granted, we've known how to fix it for a while, but it's been hard due to various media and paleo media having a lot of sauropods, you know. Give me a sec, I almost fell over. A lot of paleontologists have theorized that the nostrils would be here, not at the top of the head crest. Would this be Brachiosaurus itself or Giraffatitan? For those that don't know, Giraffatitan is the African species that is in the same family as Brachiosaurus, but not with it. Well, by that I mean within the same sauropod family. Forgetting the exact name lineage, but it's the, I believe, Macrosauridae, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going off of stuff from the top of my head, but a lot of paleontologists do believe that a lot of sauropods did have features that did include stuff like air sacs on them, since we know that some other dinosaurs had them, and considering the amount of oxygen and displays that sauropods probably have had, because hard to tell from soft body tissue never fossilizing well, but should be interesting to see. Ooh. As interesting as that is, oh boy, just when you thought that we've got over Centaurosaurus having those protrusions for theorizing for its incomplete crest. Oh boy, this is just adding fuel for the fire for that side of paleontology. I mean the one that's a bit more kiddish. Ooh, wait. Pycnofibers on this. I believe this is either Quetzalcoatlus or. Damn, what's the. Give me a sec. I know. I want to say Cairo Draco, if I'm not mistaken. No. Oh, here. Cairo Dracon. I'm going to guess that this is it due to how much that, what do you call it, that it is shown being next to the Lacustae, and noting that it's from further up north and lived much earlier than Quetzalcoatlus. Yeah, I do believe that this is Cairo Dracon. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name or struggling with it. This is one of the few Asdarchids that I'm kind of still trying to figure out. Although the wingspan of the ways of where they would have connected is still a debate with paleontologists, but I think we got the gist. Alright, yeah, no, this is Lacustae for sure with the adult specimens. Oh. Wait, hold on. Ooh. Alright, since if this, I don't believe this won't be Quetzalcoatlus, judging by the head crest of this, judging by its weaker appearance, I say that this is either one of two creatures. This could either be Gorgosaurus or what's its name? Or Albertosaurus. Let me just double check where Wakusai is found. Alright, so this is most likely either one of two creatures. Let's see. Yeah, this is either Nanugosaurus, which is a Tyrannosaurid. Well, more accurately, it's more closely related to Tyrannosaurus rex itself than being an Albertosaurian. Or this could be Albertosaurus itself, which is finally getting some love in these documentaries. Or it could be a bit more of the famous cousin of Albertosaurus, which is Gorgosaurus. Or it could pull a 180 and finally show us the Splendosaurus, because, well, the Splendosaurus is another one that's more related to Tyrannosaurus rex than something like Albertosaurus, which was also still close on the family tree, just different body plan and build. Sorry for nerding out, I am a nerd. Alright. This looks interesting. A Spinosaurus match-off with the different sails. Not sure how they plan on doing this, but plan on explaining the debate between how paleontologists believe that Spinosaurus's sails would have looked in life. But the tips of the end of the tail look fine, I would say, but yeah. Ooh, wait a sec. There's only one. If I'm not mistaken, this. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to thee, most likely, first real on-screen appearance, again from the infamous Utah Raptor, who mistakenly a lot of people think is the star of Jurassic Park. Unfortunately, no. That raptor you see in Jurassic Park is Deinonychus, which is not even a Velociraptorine. Said it's more of a Dromaeosaurid. Well, all of them are Dromaeosaurs. I'm forgetting the particular branch lines. It's not a Dromaeosaur. No, it's not a Troodontid, and it's not a Velociraptorine, it's the other one. I'm forgetting the classifications off the top of my head, but the reason why I'm saying that this is Utah Raptor is because, well, this, if I'm not mistaken, would have been one of its massive prey. Granted, this would have been more of a rare occasion prey, and I believe I know it's a Nodosaurid because, once again, it doesn't have a club at the end of its tail, but that doesn't mean it wasn't still a bulky animal that wasn't heavily defended. But the reason why I say that is because, look at this jaw structure. This is built. Utah Raptor was built for taking down large animals, as it's one of the largest dromaeosaurids. If Dakota Raptor isn't what do you call it? Proven to not be a Anobium dunus, I believe, or a false name and chimera, but it should be interesting. And plus with robust skull, although it's hard to get a scale for actual height-wise, but I do believe that this is Utahraptor itself, which it should finally show that these were more solitary creatures and not pack hunters, because pack hunting's mammalian, and dinosaurs had more of like a mobbing behavior. Think of Komodo dragons rather than wolves, but effectively the structure is this. A bunch of individuals group together and are not organized and decide to attack the same prey in order to have a better chance of success. Do they communicate to each other on what exactly to do? No, they just know, hey, you attack from this side, I attack from this side, hope for the best. That's effectively what they do. And not to mention with raptors themselves, although their infamous sickle claws are the scariest thing that a lot of people fear due to, once again, Deinonychus and Jurassic Park. And so, pretty much, it's also probably one of the scarier ways on how to die, especially if you get traveled back in time, is most likely from the dromaeosaurs, because instead of, slashing you open like they show in Jurassic Park, their toe claws are more meant for hooking into your flesh, and then they flap their wings on the back, while they hop onto your back, sink their claws into your back, and begin using their heads to, begin going at it at your back, which for a lot of animals that aren't armored, that's a pretty vital spot. Or if the animal is big enough, maybe on like some of the sides. However, it should be mentioned that although this Utahraptor was early Cretaceous, it wasn't the prime apex predator. That still belonged to Acrocanthosaurus, which was a Cargontosaurian that was one of the largest predators that roamed North America before, well, you guys know who the other one is, and I'm not talking about Utahraptor. It's the T-Rex, for those that couldn't tell what I was hinting at. Ooh. Pterosaurus standoff versus this juvenile, which, if I'm not mistaken, this should be Quetzalcoatlus, because although the one inaccuracy I will say for these pterosaurs are the fact that these wingtips are too pointed. But besides that, the pycnofibers are fine, the coloration seems most likely accurate. Although I would say that with this juvenile Triceratops or Eotriceratops, this is most likely a Quetzalcoatlus. Also due to the head crest. And I will say that if they finally go for the fashion that Quetzalcoatlus could act, and most as darkids actually are, they're more of the land predators out of the pterosaurs rather than, more of the fish-eating kind. So yeah, this is most likely not going to end well for this this hatchling of the Triceratops or Eotriceratops. Won't end well, but would be one interesting match. Yeah, alright. It's not going to end well for this hatchling unless if it's Mutter or a fodder or one of its siblings, since, honestly enough, Triceratops don't do herding behaviors Although some ceratopsians did, Triceratops was not one of them. They would just do family groups and that's it. Like maybe a mother, father, maybe like a sub-adult or two, and maybe a few more juveniles. And that depends if they even survive to adulthood. But mostly, Triceratops wouldn't have been like within herds. Herds as most people assumed. Oh, wait a sec. A Montosaurus? Please tell me that this is a Rex. A Rex or an Albertosaurine? Oh, hard to tell, but I think that's the same design that they used. Either... Where was it? I think that's the same design for there. So most likely this is either Albertosaurus, the Swedisaurus, Gorgosaurus, or Nanucosaurus. Although, considering that this is more of the one shown with not a lot of feathers, I'm guessing this is more towards the latter build of Albertosaurus or Gorgosaurus, which are Albertosaurians, not Tyrannosaurids, like Nanucosaurus, the Spleetosaurus, and of course T-Rex. But did they hunt similar prey? Yeah. Like, I would say, yeah, nothing's off. Ooh, a group of mobbing. I believe this is still the same Utah raptor design. Yeah, because this is definitely a Utah raptor, if that's there. Wait, what's that? Ooh, sauropods going down, eating. You know what? Considering that this has the more famous head crest, I'm assuming that this would be either of two creatures, either Sauroposeidon or Giraffe Titan. For those that don't know, Giraffe Titan's the more famous quote-unquote Brachiosaurus, end quote, because, well, it was theorized for a long time that the North American Brachiosaurus and Giraffe Titan, which was then classified as Brachiosaurus for Africa, had similar headgear, i.e. this famous bump. However, it was later discovered with further advances in paleontology and newer specimens that showed that Brachiosaurus in North America actually had different head crest material than Giraffe Titan, but was in the similar ballpark. But they had similar builds, but weren't, directly related. I'm sorry about that. I need to go back for a moment. It's like a mother duck leading its young. Aw, so cute. Aww. Alright. Aww. This is a Montosaurus. Yeah, that seems about right. Wait a sec. Let me take a look here. Ooh. This could be either... I have to say, this is probably an old relative that we haven't seen in a long time. This is most likely Torvosaurus, since the headwear isn't circular enough for it to have been Triceratops, but it's also short enough where I'm not confident if this is indeed Torvosaurus or not. Although the longer skull thing, although it is lowered its head, so everything looks a bit closer than what it would have been, but yeah, I'm assuming this is Torvosaurus, another forgotten three-horned, I believe it's more than three-horned ceratopsian that lived beside a Triceratops in the late Cretaceous in the same area. Wait. Yeah, that's how Nodosaurians defended themselves. Slapped them with spiked tails. Ooh. Two Spinos fighting over some fish. Yeah, pretty normal stuff. Oh. Wait a second. Oh boy. It doesn't take long for me to know that. Yeah. If this is behind you, and you don't fly, buddy, I have to say, run. Run and fly as fast as you can. I'm not saying to take off right away by running. I'm saying, like, go as fast as you can. It's right behind you. For those that can't tell, this is a T-Rex. It's right behind his Quetz. For a lot of Path of Titan players, this kind of actually seems a bit more normal. Although granted, for Path of Titans players, it might be more accurate to say a Hatzegopteryx, but we're talking about actual paleontology here, so that's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I don't have to explain what it is, because, well, if I wanted to explain what T-Rex is to someone, all I have to say is nature's apex predator. And oh boy, this Quetzalcoatlus is going to be screwed. Also, the lips. Nice touch. A lot of people forget. A lot of land animals have lips, including dinosaurs. Even in Jurassic Park, the dinosaurs had lips, except for one animal. And that animal happened to have been, you guessed it, T-Rex. Because it's a bit scary to imagine to see the teeth of T-Rex. T-Rex, rather than, have it being covered up like if it was a smile, but we all know this is most likely what a T-Rex would have looked like. All fleshy, bulky, strong, muscular. Probably the biggest theropod to ever exist. I say biggest because in scientific terms it doesn't go by length, because length would be Spinosaurus, but it goes by weight, which is either one of two creatures. In second place, we have Giganotosaurus, which is roughly 10 to 11 tons. Well, T-Rex, from all the specimens we've been seeing, has an estimated range from 8 tons all the way up to 12 tons, maybe 13 tons if we find more of the specimen known as Goliath, which is larger than some of the other T-Rex specimens we found. And yeah, T-Rex has a pretty large probability of being the biggest apex predator to ever walk the earth. And Quetz, I have to say, don't try not moving. That doesn't work. I mean, the reason why they explain it in the film is due to incomplete DNA. Well, for Jurassic Park and for the novel version of that scene, Michael Crichton had to retcon parts of it in his second novel, The Lost World in the Jurassic Park series, as to the Rex was feeling more territorial rather than predatory, because Yeah, even if you stand still, this guy is seeing you. And not to mention, had the best binocular eyesight and sense of smell in the animal kingdom. Yeah, you're not hiding from this guy. And to make it even worse on how T-Rex can be scary, for those that don't know, it has a large set of pods similar to like an elephant, like sense of cushioning on its feet, which softened the sounds it would have made while walking. Meaning, yeah, it could sneak up on you if you don't have the best of senses. Even if you have pretty good hearing, most likely you won't be able to notice this predator go up behind you or anything. I wouldn't say it's the most stealthiest creature, but yeah, if it really decides to hunt you, yeah, you're not making out of it. Anyways, this should honestly be interesting to see what goes on. Yeah, sorry for talking over all of it, but I'm just far too excited because I get a nerd out, and plus, I get to go and revisit one of my main childhood memories, which was Walking with Dinosaurs, the original 1999. And then Chased by Dinosaurs, which is the one with Nigel Marven. Sea Monsters with also Nigel Marven. The Walking with Prehistoric Beast. And I'm forgetting the exact name, but I know that there's the Walking with trilogy. Give me a sec. Yeah, with Prehistoric Beasts and Walking with Monsters, and then, of course, with the Big Owl special, and, of course, although to a lesser part of my childhood, the Walking with Dinosaurs movie, which I honestly would have done way better without the studio interference. Like most good things that unfortunately get turned to pretty bad stuff, it goes from studio decisions for that movie. Anyways, besides that, I'm excited to watch this when it comes out. And anyways, other besides that, I'm sorry for talking so much, but this is one of my main interests, and not to mention what I was originally planning to go into a career for, but then I found out that I more like this as a big time hobby rather than, for an actual career pursuit. Although I love learning about what life was like before humans, and even what it will be like even after humans, considering we changed the world so much. But besides that, I would say all the copyright belongs to BBC Earth, and yeah, I can't wait for this. And I'll place a link in the description and the trailer down below, but yeah, no, this has been quite good. Quite good overall, and all of the designs look quite good. Although there are some little nitpicks here and there I would give. Largely the tipped wingspan of some of the Astarchids, but besides that, I would say that a good chunk of these designs actually are quite good with what a lot of modern stuff does. Even if I go back here, even this T-Rex design is a bit better than Prehistoric Planet. I will say for one reason. It's got more muscles on the face and jaw, making it look less skeletal in some areas, but
Other side is that. This looks like a T-Rex in the flesh. And yeah. Oh boy, that Quetz is screwed. And judging by the location and background, this is the same Quetzalcoatlus that was attacking that juvenile. Yep, same one that was attacking the juvenile. No, this is a hatchling Triceratops. Now, time to figure out if this was either Hortus or Porsus. For those that don't know, there is a bit of a distinction, although the distinction of the two would later just come from the way and how the horns were positioned. I'll explain a lot of this stuff later, but I feel like there's a lot better paleontological, videos that can explain the differences of dinosaurs better than me, but yeah, no, I'm excited for this. Anyways, I'll see y'all in the next video. Goodbye.